When we get fraud cases in our office, we get them from a number of different ways. We have a fraud hotline, and on the second to the last page of the slides, and we'll come to that, I'll give you the 800 number. When you call in there, you talk to one of the support people. They take some information down, and it's sent to myself and Shane. We treat every one of them as anonymous. We like to have your name and number in case we have to call you back for more information or call people back. But it's anonymous until it goes to court. Once it goes to court, you know, the judge says you have to produce it, you have to let us know. And if we have it, we will say it then. But you've moved far enough into the case that you know that's going to happen. Our claims examiners at State Fund are the first ones in line. They know what's going on. They let us know that there might be a problem because who'd they talk to? They talk to the employers, they talk to the employees, and people call them because they've got the name. Oftentimes an audit turns up something wrong. Sometimes that's in the books, sometimes that's with claims, claims that we don't even know about. I think an audit is done, can be requested earlier, but every few years, every company has an audit done by us. Surveillance by a private investigator. That surveillance is typically requested from the claims examiner. But sometimes, because we've got some pretty good private investigators, they'll know something about a case that maybe they worked on a year ago. They'll call me up and say, hey, I was just in the East Missoula area and remember so-and-so. And I say, yeah, well, are they still on comp? Well, I check out, yep, they're still on comp. Well, you know, right now they're roofing. I took a couple pictures, but I can go back tomorrow. Perfect. Employers or coworkers? You know, coworkers. They know a lot of what's going on. They ride with injured employees. They may deal with them outside on a personal level. They know a lot of what's going on. Claim review by us in the SIU. Oftentimes we will look at cases and claims. I always say cases, but they're a case when they're on my desk, they're a claim when they're at the claim examiner. But we'll look at them because we have suspicion that something might be wrong. Our customer service staff and underwriters in the office, oftentimes they'll get phone calls or they'll notice just something is wrong, that there might be an issue. Recognizing fraud. Sometimes fraud is obvious, but other times you have to look more closely in order to recognize what might be fraudulent conduct. Comparisons between cases where fraudulent conduct was confirmed led to the identification of a number of common factors that might indicate fraud in a claim. Those common factors are red flags. Red flags are just indicators. Does it mean fraud occurred with any of the red flags? No. They don't prove anything. They just lead to questions. You might have 100 red flags. Doesn't mean that anything happened. Well, something might have happened, but it doesn't prove fraud. Might have one red flag, and lo and behold, there is something wrong. What are the red flags? Some different ones. Employee does not promptly report an injury. It could be many reasons. Could be they didn't think anything was wrong. Injury is not witnessed by fellow employees. You know, we've all worked places where we're the only one working there. There's nobody watching us, nobody working with us. But that happens so many times. Shane and I first thing we look at is the first report of injury. And 95% of them, no witnesses. Just a red flag, just something to think about. Theory. Injury is reported as occurring Monday morning or Friday afternoon. Don't have to say much about those because, you know, start your weekend early or extend your weekend. What happened over the weekend? You know, that Monday morning, we get a lot of those. Injury occurs prior to an anticipated layoff, termination, strike. When I first started the Bakken oil patch, I thought there would be a lot of claims out there. Well, there's not, because they pay really well. They pay more than what they're going to get and so people are working through pain to get good money. Well, now there's been some slowdown And kind of coincidence, but we're starting to have claims. Go figure. Something's wrong there, but and they're tough because they're from all over the country. They have an injury, they were working here, or living here, companies here, and they're gone. They're going to all points of the country back home. They're tough to follow up on. A lot of those remote workplaces, because of theft, have surveillance cameras. And when you find out where it happened, if you call that company and ask them to save it, you may not need it, but ask them to save it, they'll save it indefinitely. Otherwise, in 2 weeks, they'll start the cycle back and they'll record right over it. Most people don't save tapes, because it's digital, but you can only save so much before you just run out of space. But as soon as you find out, if you can call and see if they will provide that, that would be really helpful.